Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Jordan, and today I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon. Even though it's already another month as it is, so here we go. But, yeah, I figured I'll just do this quick video. Well, I'll do it as fast as I can anyway. Because it has something to do with their films, of course, as per usual. It's basically a discussion where they apparently have a villain for Frozen 3. Just keep in mind that a lot of what I'm going to tell you is really skeptical. I'm really skeptical of a lot of this, folks. And like I said multiple times before in regards to this was not the first time I've discussed this before. And I'm saying that for anybody that's new to this channel or whatever. I've discussed this kind of thing before. But I highly doubt that they actually would. But there's rumors going on they might, then they should, then they could, then they would. Then maybe, then should, could, would, should, probably. Nothing really, I guess, I don't know, whatever. Honestly, I did think everything just wrapped just fine in the second movie. So, how can they even continue this? I don't know. It just seems rather odd that a lot of people keep saying a third one should happen, even though I really don't think they should, really. But anyway, point being is that they said that Frozen 3 is going to already have a dark villain that's really gloomy, and it's barely been written as such a way that this series is going to have some sort of connections or whatever to some sort of whatever kind of story, like mythology and whatnot. But even that's the case, that doesn't mean they're going to do a third one per se. But okay, whatever. But yeah, this will be a continuation of Family, and yes, unlike the second film, this is going to actually have a villain. The first one had a villain, and then not the second one. This would be the third installment. And apparently this might be just a trilogy, apparently. But yes, the first two films did have to explore the fact that Elsa herself had to deal with her ice powers, and then finally figuring out what they had to do with anything in the second film and how she fits in the world as a whole. So how can they continue this kind of thing without making it seem rushed or unneeded or whatever? So I don't know. I found a lot of this to be questionable because a lot of people say that they might have sources for this kind of a thing, but that's the thing. Just because some article said so doesn't mean it's going to be official. So even then, I'm like, I know about that. Allegedly, it's going to be inspired by some kind of mythology. So you mean to tell me that there's going to be some kind of possible Viking kind of a thing going on in the movie? So we may get mythical horses, something in lines of that in the movie. So, okay, or any other type of creature that may or may not appear in the said storyline. Which, if you ask me, it seems a bit too vague, if you ask me. Some sort of pagan religion may be a part of it as well. And some sort of course, magic, obviously. But for what purpose and how it's going to be used, I'm not still quite too sure about that, really, but, like, okay, apparently that's going to be inspired by, to some extent anyway, by this kind of a thing that may play a major role in the grand scheme of the story. So, I guess maybe Elsa and Anna would have to go on another grand adventure, but to what extent? Would it be, like, within the same kingdom, or do they have to leave again? So, there's plenty of guesses here. And that's the problem. There's too many guesses in here, folks. Apparently, yes, there's a villain. Apparently, I guess. But this has something to do with the overall theme of the story, I guess. It's some in relation of, this kind of mythology or whatever. I mean, granted, there's been plenty of movies that have done the same kind of a thing. Taking inspiration of old folklore and then trying to add their own twist or something. And yeah, there's been plenty of movies. Animated features were not the only movies that did this. There's been plenty, and I do mean plenty of other movies that done this kind of thing. So doing this doesn't exactly seem much of a stretch anyway when you actually think about it. So I guess that's perfectly fine. I guess this movie won't be the only that did that. So what they have to do if they actually do this just find a way to make it interesting somehow, and not just throw it in there for its own sake, I guess you can say, but whatever, I suppose. But there might be some religious stuff, maybe, at least in the context of the story, I guess, in some fashion, I guess, folks. So also, another thing that may be a theme of the film is, love and relationships between siblings. So, yeah, I mean, okay, I can see why they would possibly have this, because this does seem to be a common thing in families, especially when it comes to like sister rivalries in family. And if a child feels that her parent, okay, their parent might show one favoritism over the other, but so of course may cause resentment that will grow over the years and whatnot, leading up to difficulties in the sister relationships and whatnot. But the thing is that if anybody's paying attention to the previous two installments, their parents are no longer in the picture. So, okay, this could imply that maybe there's some coping mechanism that might be still there between the two sisters. So, what does this mean exactly? Maybe there's some things that might be disagreeing with. Maybe the fact that they didn't really have much of a childhood together, really. Maybe that come back into play in some kind of way. So, again, that seems incredibly vague, so I don't know exactly. Maybe something in the lines of that, perhaps, and come into it with the sisters, have to somehow fill the gaps, so to speak, because, like I said, they didn't really have much of a childhood, and not really, they didn't do much with each other during the teen years. I mean, okay, maybe except for Anna, because she was like, what, 18, and, in most of the first Frozen film. The first one, she was like 18, but that's like in her late teens. And Elsa was somewhere in her early 20s, I believe. So even then, they didn't really spend their teen years with each other. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen there per se. If they're going to actually use that angle, really. So you will see. Yeah, this is just a rumor, but looking at this image, you could always say what I'm going to say. Is that, yeah, possible chance of her having a relationship with that one woman, even though she had that one scene that they actually spoke to each other about the fifth spirits or whatever. But, okay, if they actually go all the way with this, I guess this would imply some sort of interracial kind of a thing going on here. Which, okay. I mean, this wouldn't be the only family movie that done this. Sure, there's been plenty of other family movies, so how can you do a take on this that won't seem like a repeat? Yes, they might be of the same gender, sure, but even then, how can you make this seem not so much like the same old thing that we've seen like hundreds of times already? How can you make yourself, in this aspect of the story, distinguished enough from what we already seen in the past? I don't know what they will do exactly. I'm pretty sure that her partner will be definitely in peril. Of course, we have to bring excitement somehow. So yes, I know. Again, what I'm saying here sounds incredibly vague here, folks. I know, but I guess we have to see. It took issue when that one kids program had like an racism message in it. No, racism is bad. Just some people view that as abuse, which does seem kind of odd. Okay, see, so teaching kids that racism is bad is somehow abuse. Okay, yeah, that was a headline at some point a while back. So that's kind of old news. So people definitely take an issue with Elsa going out with somebody out of her own race, if they're going to do that for her. They might be okay with the lesbian part, but the whole interracial bit, that seems a bit iffy for some people. Some people might be thinking that it would be poisonous somehow to the kids' minds, which seems kind of odd because you're thinking, acceptance is to be a key. I mean, granted, when it comes to this kind of a thing, maybe kids they're extremely young. They might be 2, 1, or 3, or even 4. May not understand some concepts, so I guess it depends how it's done, I suppose. Also rumored that Hans may return, which seems kind of odd because he was not mentioned at all in the second movie. And we all know what happened to him in the first film. So that's a huge gap of time that they have to explain. What exactly happened here? And yes, I do realize that he does, like he stated, have lots and lots of brothers. So what about them? Did they help him in some kind of way? Yes, they pretty much acted like he was invincible, like he was see-through, like he wasn't even there. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't have a change of heart and help them out somehow, if at all. So if Hans does make a return, so does this mean it's going to be like a revenge story kind of a thing? So he's going to be the villain, if anything, again. But we're going to have a bigger plan to overthrow Elsa and Anna. I mean, okay, Elsa would be living in the enchanted forest, so I don't know what he's going to do about that. So it was rumored also that the father has a dark, evil twin that would return with his own set of secrets. So, okay, kind of bit of conflicting information here. So we're not going to go with the Hans thing, but we're not. But then we are. But their father has an evil twin somewhere. So where, supposedly, so where was he during the previous 2 films? Never mentioned in any of the scenes where Elsa and Anna were much younger. Their parents never mentioned a twin. I mean, was he exiled or something? That's why he was never mentioned? I don't know. It just seems it came out of left field, is what I'm saying. But, okay. How would they fit this in the grand scheme of things without making it seem extremely convoluted? But, yeah. I don't know. Maybe he has his own kingdom. I don't know how that's going to make sense. But, yeah, I'm not quite sure here, folks. 3, Frozen 3, Frozen 3, Frozen 3, Frozen 3, and, okay, Frozen 3, Frozen 3, and again, Frozen 3, Frozen, yeah, I'm beating a dead horse at this point. Oh boy, I've talked about this so many times, Frozen 3, Frozen 3, Frozen 3, and Frozen 3, and Frozen, oh boy. Yeah, I know, I've mentioned this quite a few times as it is. And let's not forget Frozen 3, Frozen, alright already, I know, I get it, folks, I get it. I brought up the subject matter repeatedly. Yeah, it gets tiresome after a while, I guess, because of that. But yeah, that's one of the reasons as to why I want to make this as short as possible. Because of that, I guess you would say. Suppose brother was stated to be probably he's responsible for the parents' deaths. Well, this thing just got a whole lot sadder if that's the case when you think about it. Yeah. How about having a screwed up family here? But okay, other than that, there's also rumors of Elsa having fire abilities for some reason, like she was corrupted maybe. So she could be the villain, like she was originally supposed to have been. But then other people say that the character of Anna, she might have fire abilities, like she was turned evil or something. So, I mean, not necessarily, but still, have some sort of conflict. They say something about villains. So this would mean that the sisters will have to go against each other. If that's the case, if Elsa stays with the powers. Now, and someone else will state that there's also a rumor that their parents are still alive somehow. Okay. Did what? I guess kind of like how this character lied about Rey's parents. They're just good for nothings who didn't know any better at all. And maybe it's the same case here, I guess. Maybe? Could? Again, what about the whole part when they found the truth about the parents' death? I mean, I guess you could still apply to that somehow, I guess. It's not going to actually take it away, I guess. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and take care, and until next time, see ya. Oh yeah.